Grouping the samurai in Inazuma is pretty difficult because of how they always move everywhere and are resistant to grouping abilities. In this video, I will be showing you their moveset, their AI, what makes them difficult to group, and how they can be grouped together by abusing what we know of them. This is mainly a guide for Spiral Abyss, but it can be used in general combat against them. With that said and out of the way, let's hop right into the video. Starting off with the Nobushi, they all share these three moves: a simple slash, a dash attack, and a backstep. They also have a special move based on their element. The Electro one brings out a crossbow and starts shooting you from a range. The Pyro one has a special backstep that releases fireworks. And lastly, the Hydro one tries. He doesn't have anything special. Backstep Mechanics. Now this backstep is what makes them so damn frustrating to fight against. Pair this up with a dash attack and the problem with the backstep is the two scenarios in which they can backstep in. One is just normally, because they're an asshole. The other is a special backstep that triggers only when you stagger them in any sort of way, because they're still an asshole. General rule of thumb is that any move you do that will send a Hilichurl flying will be the same kind of move that will trigger these guys to do a backstep. Now this special stagger backstep is like their own special skill because once they trigger it, it goes on cooldown. They won't be able to trigger the special backstep again after 10 seconds. Another thing to note is that after the special backstep is triggered, they will always follow up with a dash attack. During the cooldown of their special backstep, they can be staggered infinitely, and once they have been staggered, the cooldown of their special backstep resets and goes back to 10 seconds. Another thing to note is that they cannot be staggered when they are doing any sort of attack. Special interactions. They can be lifted by Jean's charged attack but not by Venti's E. They cannot be lifted by a Nemo MC's Tornado. Anything with a bit of pull such as Venti's Vortex, Kazuha, Sucrose, Jean, and the Nemo MC's Elemental Scale can pull them together ever so slightly. Where they backstep depends on where they're facing, so if they're taunted by something like a Baron Bunny, they will backstep away from the taunt. If another entity like Oz triggers the stagger from a distance, they will still backstep away from you. How to group the Nobushi. Knowing everything they can do, we can now move on to how to abuse their AI to bring them together. First things first is how to start it off. Stagger the Electro Nobushi in any way you can. You can use a sword charge attack, skill, ultimate, anything at all that staggers him to trigger his dash attack. We go for the Electro one because going for anyone else can prompt him to bring out his crossbow and stay in place. After triggering his dash, head towards a wall where they will be easier to group up. The rest will then follow through into the wall. While waiting for them, you can activate your burst. Now for 2 tips to keep them grouped up together. The first is to observe when they are about to perform a dash attack. Lead them towards a wall. Otherwise, stay in front of them so if they ever do backstep, they'll backstep into the wall. The second tip is if you ever see one of them run far back away, wait for them to come back to you. Chasing after them may cause them to jump back again and separate from everyone even more. Kairagi moveset. The Kairagi follow similar yet different mechanics from the Nobushi and have a lot more moves up their sleeve. All of their moves include a triple slash, a dash attack, a block move, a spin attack, a jump attack, an elemental infusion slam, and avenge the fallen. They do not backstep normally like the Nobushi do and only do so after getting hit by anything at all, because they're sensitive. They naturally don't have a special stagger backstep so you can stagger them instantly. Their special stagger backstep is only available as they are elementally infused. In this state, getting staggered will trigger them to do a backstep followed by a spin attack right after. This state lasts for 30 seconds. The last attack in their triple slash combo can also be changed into a spin attack while they are elementally infused. Avenge the Fallen is the move that everyone hates. Basically, when an ally Kairagi dies, they go into an anime protagonist state during which they receive increased stats. because they're sensitive, and you kill their friend. These stats include 1. Always being infused with their element. 2. Having access to new combos. 3. Being immune to any form of CC except for getting staggered. And 4. Recover 50% of their HP. Sources say that they also increase their HP by 50%, but I haven't noticed it. If I'm wrong, please do tell me in the comments. Your only choice is to kill both of them at the same time to prevent this move. In summary, they have 2 moves that don't really move them, 5 moves that really move them, a block that can waste lots of time, and something that's practically a revive. They are honestly big pieces of some special interactions. Unlike a hilichurl weapon which you can do reactions with, your sword does not allow for any reaction. They cannot be pulled by any ability and can only be staggered. Although the Nobushi can be lifted up, these guys can. Even though you can lift a lawachurl of all things. Yes, a lawachurl! This thing, this huge ass hilichurl can be lifted by Jean, but not this boy, he too thick! How to group the Kairagi. Because none of them can bring out the crossbow, you can just stick by a wall and they'll run and dash attack towards you. Now here is where you have 2 things to keep in mind. 1 is to hug the wall as hard as you can, so that they never really have anywhere to go when they dash. And the other is to watch out what move they will do, and position yourself accordingly. How you position yourself depends on the type of team you're using. With Melt, Vaporize, or Reactionless teams, your only real option is to stick to the wall as hard as you can in between the two so that they'll keep dashing there. Although the strategy is effective, it is also quite problematic as you won't really be able to see due to the camera angles in this game. The other strategies are done by making use of freeze teams and overload teams. Freeze teams can keep them in place, allowing you to easily deal damage. It is although not perfect because of the probability of them breaking free and dashing immediately after. It is also more recommended to bring in the second half due to the nature of the enemies there. Overload spam is what I recommend because of how well it works against them. The amount of stagger it creates forces them to mainly use their special stagger backstep into a spin attack, making them easier to control by giving them less options on what they can do. Keep this up and they'll be dead in no time. Before I end this video off, I would like to give a special shout out to the new international team that's been gaining popularity recently. Although this team isn't the best at grouping, it is very powerful during the small moments the enemies are grouped together, thus making it the most popular option in Abyss right now. That is all for the video, and if you liked it and it helped you out, please do consider giving it a like and maybe even subscribe to help me out. I plan on making more Genshin Impact content and Spiral Abyss guides in the future. Background footage is my low-cost FTP clear of 12-1 with barely any built units. If you're interested, go check it out. It'll be on the card on the top right corner of the screen. Thank you all so much for watching my video, and I hope you all have a pleasant day.